I just can't sleep tonight, knowing that things ain't right. Oh man, I haven't slept in like 5 days. Let's go back to the beginning. Something extremely devastating happened, and we need to talk about it. Cops dying is something that only happens in other cities, but not here. No, it never happens to us, but when it does, I remember I was getting ready to eat the spaghetti and meatballs I made for lunch that day. That's when I saw it on my YouTube homepage. What? Wait, what? Yo, wait, hold up. Is this real life right now? It can't be him. It is him. I won't ever forget that name. There's a reason it was familiar to me.
Think I can see a police vehicles right there? Oh, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. 1546. $15.27.
Hello, sir. How's it going?
Identify yourself.
Sorry?
Identify yourself.
I'm Constable Cream.
Wait, what? Constable Cream? So, does Constable Cream work with Java at the Coffee Cup Cafe?
Badge number.
5575. Hey, Constable Saunders, 5192. How's it going today? Enjoying the weather? Is there any reason for videotaping today? Congratulations, you're on camera too. What are you doing?
Identify yourself.
Sergeant Andrew Harnett, Regimental 4601.
Okay, thank you.
What can we do for you?
I'll never ask for any help.
Just one of those audit people that's doing this for a YouTube thing.
Have a good day.
News.
Have a good day.
Okay. I just ask that you don't bother anybody
Have a good day.
coming and going from work.
Have a good day.
Okay?
Have a good day.
Right.
Guess he never got his Timmy's today.
Whoa, too far, man, too far. The name of that particular donut at the Coffee Cake Bakery is called Savage Sergeant.
Stand down. This guy's still using Yep.
So, just a bad coincidence?
Good day. Enjoy the weather.
Well, wasn't that pleasant, ladies and gentlemen? That's Sergeant. Wow.
I know he was the random sergeant who got mad at Canadian rights media for randomly filming outside the HQ and called him a loser before he left and told the other two officers to ignore him. I went back onto the video and there were already several comments stating the sergeant in this video has just passed away, and that's when reality set in. I left a comment of my own, and shortly after that, the video was either put on private to avoid a dumpster fire or deleted because of guilt. Was it something I said?
And can't get back up on the beat, ridicules what you get, not even a damn handshake. As the sun sets on that city landscape, nothing can stop you, snow, rain, and thunder. Gotta hold that blue line tight, you're the wolf hunter. I will defend my brothers, I will defend the weak. I will pursue and fight evil so others may sleep. I am the sheepdog, protecting the night. Wolf hunters unite, bring it on, it's time to fight.
Wow, what a great way to start the new year, by telling citizens a cop randomly got murdered. But not just any cop, a cop who called a YouTuber a loser. There were 3 officers in the video, and it is just unfortunate that the one who called a YouTuber a loser ended up getting murdered by a bunch of ghetto hood rats several months later. No correlation between the 2 events. It is all just a really bad coincidence that it happened that way. Point form. New Year's Eve, traffic stop. 2 kids, 17 and 19, Middle Eastern. They ran him over and took off. He died in hospital at midnight. No, but I've been living here for a little over a decade now. This is local news, so of course I am going to cover it if I know about it and I feel strongly about the topic. I don't. It's a heartbreaking subject that has a severe emotional impact on me, for obvious reasons. No, I don't think so. At least not here, anyway. That's why it became such a huge headline. It was New Year's. The specific circumstances surrounding the specific incident with the specific individual and the video. It turned into what it is. That's why it is such a big deal. If it was a random cop with no history to the public or any kind of bad publicity, it would have just been, what a great way to start the new year. A random cop died. That's tragic. It would have been left at that. The last time a human cop in this city died, it was because of a medical problem, and it wasn't in the line of duty. That's why that chick didn't get half a dozen headlines generating over 7K comments in like 2 days. A cop died and a cop died in the line of duty are 2 different things. The public video, anyone he ever met, anyone he ever knew, anyone who watched it, if they didn't know him, that's not the best way to remember him. But those who did know him knew that he was so much more than that. Both mistakes were made on both sides, but the cop was only 2% wrong. The YouTuber was 98% wrong. Professional. Cops, don't let anyone film you in a compromising position, whether you think they can hear you or not. You don't want to be putting yourself in a bad light. Auditors are the most marginalized group of YouTubers. They are obnoxious and instigate on purpose, just to try and get a negative reaction for views. It's best to avoid them completely. Auditors, be careful. That's all I can say. I haven't slept in a week. Does that answer your question? I feel like I have to apologize on behalf of the entire YouTube community because this makes us all look bad. I will need to make sure I donate to the family just to prove to them that not all YouTubers are losers. Probably I make it sound like he was a rude cop who thinks YouTubers are losers, when that's not the case. This was an isolated incident with one cop calling one YouTuber a loser. More citizens call cops losers than cops call citizens losers, I'm guessing. It was just an anomaly, an isolated incident, and a terrible mistake on both sides. If he died thinking, YouTubers are losers, then I feel awful. We're not all a bunch of obnoxious, attention-seeking trolls who go around insulting cops, sticking cameras in their faces and pissing them off all day for a living. I think he would have liked my videos more than those auditors. Sergeant Andrew Harnett did not die in vain. The fact he called a YouTuber a loser is not the highlight of his life, nor is it a contributing factor in his death. I have to admit, it gave me a bad impression because that was the only way I knew of him. But we need to look past the fact he called a YouTuber a loser and unfortunately ended up getting killed. We need to remember him as some dude who served the country in the military before he became a cop and served his community. We want to remember Andrew as a good person and a hero who sacrificed his life. You don't just leave behind a pregnant widow and never get a chance to become a father. That's not how it's supposed to end. In light of the bad coincidence and the fact this even happened at all, we should honor his memory. We should implement the Harnett Law. Retrain all current employees and drill it into all future recruits. Do not call any YouTuber a loser. Do not call any citizen a loser. A cop called a YouTuber a loser, and look what happened. Look what this has turned into. This has completely destroyed the entire city, the entire YouTube community, and cops across the country. This cannot happen again. This is not how we wanted to start the new year. This was a very unfortunate and senseless tragedy. This didn't have to happen. I don't want to remember him as a cop who called a YouTuber a loser and ended up getting murdered by a bunch of ghetto hood rats several months later. He was so much more than that. It was all just a bad coincidence that it happened this way, and that's the truth. In the immediate future, we need to talk about bridging the gap between cops and YouTubers. It is quite obvious there is some kind of dispute. My life has never been the same since that incident last month. I am really hoping we can resolve that issue soon, because I don't want anything bad to happen to any other cop as a result of a dispute between them and a YouTuber, or the way they treated a certain citizen, intentionally or unintentionally. Tonight I've fallen and I can't get up. I need your loving hands to come and pick me up. And every night I miss you. I can just look up and know the stars are holding you, holding you, holding you tonight. Hopefully after the burial, his soul will be released into heaven and we can all finally get some rest after this. This was my way of trying to come up with something more original than just R.I.P. My condolences to the family, or... No, this was me trying to prove that not all YouTubers are losers. I appreciate you listening to my message. I hope my actions made an impact, good or bad. It was a cold winter night, strapped in his vest. The badge of his honor pinned to his 4601 called a traffic stop. He stepped out the car, not a second thought. Seconds went by, but all that we heard was officer down. The blood of the blue runs through this town. His memory survives through all of us now. It's hard to believe he is not around. We'll never forget this. Officer down. I came home last night and found out he put it back up for public viewing, and I don't see my comment anymore. So I guess it was something I said that made him put it on private. What kind of message is that sending across by leaving it up for public viewing? Cop calls YouTuber a loser. Cop gets murdered several months later. YouTuber is a suspect. Motive for murder equals he called me a loser. Even though that's not the circumstances in this specific incident, it is pretty embarrassing for it to possibly be interpreted that way. I was just filming at this point and left a few savage comments giving him a piece of my mind.